Hey everyone, welcome to SharonBeMakinStuff. Today I've got a super awesome DIY for you guys, and these are custom quotes on canvases. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So materials, what we will be needing. First off is of course your 16 by 20 inch stretched canvas, some acrylic paint, a tray and sponges, Mod Podge and a sponge brush to apply it, your printed quote, which I will show you in a little bit how to do, a pair of scissors, a razor blade or X-Acto knife, and a piece of cardboard to cut on, some tape, a ruler and a pencil, also a fine-tipped paintbrush, and last but not least, 4 sheets of scrapbook paper. Alrighty-o, so the first thing we want to do is get on that computer because we need to pick our quote, the font, and the size. So if you want to do the same quote I'm doing, that's totally fine. I picked one by Theodore Roosevelt and it says, "Believe you can, and you're halfway there." Ooh, so inspiring. For the font, I chose something called Bebas Neue. I think that's how you say it. I got it from defont.com, so you can go over there and check it out. The size, I chose 350, and I found that this size actually works perfectly. So what you can do to see if your quote is going to fit is take your canvas and put it up against the monitor, and if your quote doesn't go over the canvas, then you know it's going to fit for sure. And the space in the middle, this space is non-existent because when you cut it out, it's not going to be there. You get to pick your own spacing, how you want it to be, so don't even worry about it. And also, yeah, you can fit. So you just keep scrolling down and see like if they're gonna fit. Basically, for halfway, words like this that are split up, all you have to do is just kind of make a mark where it ends off and then continue scrolling down and then just keep measuring the rest, and yeah, it will fit. So there you go. Okay, so the most important part is to make sure that your magnification is at 100% because whatever you see on the screen, say if this letter E is 8 centimeters long, then when you print it out, it's going to be 8 centimeters and also 8 centimeters on your canvas. So they're all relative, only when your magnification is at 100%. So double check that. Okay, so moving on to the more technical stuff, we want a general idea of how we want our layout to be. So go ahead and get a sheet of paper and a pen and just write out your quote with your desired layout. And the point of this is to basically see if it's going to fit vertically, because we know it's going to fit horizontally, but vertically, that's what we're doing, we're measuring it. So as you can tell, I have 5 rows here, and remember how I told you before that one letter was 8 centimeters long? So if we were to at least give it a centimeter of space between each row, then it would be 9 centimeters, right? So measure 9 centimeters 5 times, because remember we got 5 rows, so just do that 5 times along, like down the canvas, or you can measure 45 centimeters, either way, whichever works for you. And after you have measured it, if you have a little bit of space on both ends, then you are good to go. And if, however, it does not work out, then you will have to make your font smaller or you have to change your layout. Also, just a quick tip to save ink, what you can do, oh, look at that timing. What you can do is change the color of your quote to a very light gray, something that is still visible, but just not as dark as black. So I'm doing like a medium gray color. So once you're done, go ahead and print that out. So once your sheets are all ready and printed, here comes the tedious part, but I promise you guys it will be all worth it in the end. So get your scissors and your razor because we are going to be doing a lot of cutting. So for letters with a closure, you can take out your razor blade or X-Acto knife and just cut out the inside. So after I've cut out all my letters, I'm just rearranging them on my canvas just to see if it fits to my liking, and fortunately it does, so we're gonna go ahead and continue with it. So you can set your canvas and letters aside. Now we're going to move on to the scrapbook paper. You want to measure out a 8-inch by 10-inch rectangle and cut that out. and you're going to be doing this for all 4 sheets of the scrapbook papers you have chosen. So once you've cut all your rectangles, you can go ahead and rearrange them on the canvas to your liking, and I kind of did mine like opposites of each other, like opposite color schemes, so I thought that was pretty cool. So once you are satisfied with how your rectangles are arranged, we can go ahead and take out our Mod Podge and glue everything down. And for those of you who don't know what Mod Podge is, it's basically a glue, a sealer, and a base all in one, so it's pretty awesome stuff. So you're going to smooth everything out nice and evenly and let it dry for about 10 to 15 minutes before you start arranging your letters on top. And once you've rearranged your letters and you're satisfied with how it looks, you can whip out the tape and start taping them on. If you have adhesive spray, that would work as well, but unfortunately since I don't, old school tape will have to suffice. And this part is, pretty self-explanatory. Just take your tape and tape it on the center points of each letter. You don't even need a lot, just like 1 piece or maximum 2 pieces, and you're good to go. And just to assist you with your taping, you can use your ruler to measure the space between the rows and on the sides. And you don't even really need to measure the space between the letters, because I find that it's easiest to tape the first letter and the last letter of each row and then just work your way from there. So we can now finally start painting, yay! And before you start painting, before you pick a color actually, this is a very important tip that I have learned a little too late while doing this DIY. And that is, don't pick a color that is the same or even close to the color of your background. And I made the smart decision to pick a light gray when clearly my background was light gray. Oh, so smart, Sharon, so smart. Like, who does that? Anyway, so this is me, clueless me, applying my first coat of gray onto my canvas, thinking, oh yay, this is so fun, it's gonna look so awesome later. Wrong! So I found a really effective way of applying your paint is to use a sponge brush like this, but folded over and tied with an elastic band. It actually works really well with getting in between like the creases of some letters, like the V's and the Y's and in between A's, and also like O's and U's and stuff. So first time around, use one of these, and then second time around, you can switch to a softer sponge, and what the sponge is going to do is get rid of any streaks from the previous brush and also, touch up any imperfections. And don't forget to let the first coat dry for about 20 minutes first before you start on your second coat of paint. And okay guys, this is what I'm talking about. At first, it was awesome. The feeling was great. I was really satisfied with the product, and while I was working on it, peeling off the letters, it looked nice at first until I got to the eye. And I was like, uh-oh, this does not look very nice. And then I peeled off all the letters, and then in the end, like, from far away, you couldn't really read it. Like, even now, I have a hard time reading what it says. I was quite disappointed, honestly. Like, such a rookie mistake. Such an amateur. So then later, clearly, I repainted it with black with 2 coats using the same technique with the makeshift sponge brush thing, and then going in with a softer sponge to finish everything off. And now it's time for the big reveal, and it bled through. But honestly guys, I am not surprised because I did slap on 4 coats of paint, which is a lot of paint, so hopefully you guys don't make the same mistake I did. I thought the black paint was like way better than the gray paint because the contrast is so much more easy on the eyes, and you can actually see what the quote says now, which is great. And the extra effort, it was well worth it in the end, because a little bit of hard work never hurt nobody. Just to clean up around the edges, I'm using my razor blade and scraping off any paint that might have bled within the letter. And this will not scrape off like all the paint completely or perfectly. It will most likely scrape off the scrapbook paper, but it will just turn into white fuzz, which is good. It's less visible than the black paint, so it works. And after that, you want to go in with a fine tip paintbrush to smooth over and fix up anything that might look a little bit wonky. And don't forget to paint the sides of your canvas. If you're using a white color paint, you don't have to worry about this step, but if you're using any other color, then yeah, don't forget to paint it. I feel like it just gives it a more completed look. So once all your painting is done, you can let it dry for about 20 minutes or so, and then we can whip out our Mod Podge again and then coat the whole entire thing in Mod Podge. So you're just going to coat your canvas with a nice thin even layer and let it dry for about 20 minutes. If you want, you can go ahead and do a second layer of Mod Podge, but I feel like one layer should be sufficient enough. And another awesome thing about Mod Podge is that it dries clear, and since the one I'm using is glossy, it's gonna be nice and glossy in the end, which is awesome. And last but not least, don't forget the sides. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more DIYs, then don't forget to subscribe. And also, I just want to show you guys another canvas that I designed not too long ago for my brother. And it has a head of a lion, and it says Audentes Fortuna Juvat, and it means fortune favors the bold in Latin. So just to give you guys a bit of inspiration, thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!